Gus, your first full day today. I know you've been Zooming all day with all the
very good with technology now.
Yeah, well, it makes you very accessible.
Yeah, well, with the lockdown, everyone's working from home. So I met all the staff on Zoom today and spoke to the coaches and spoke to the chairman. And I've got Zoom meetings all week. I'm Zooming. Zooming all around.
We've been Zooming our podcast too as well. Very busy, and it sounds, as Michael mentioned earlier, Tavita Pengui to the Bulldogs as well. That's a big name recruit. We know he's a good footballer. Is it a done deal as we sit here right now tonight?
Well, as I understand it, prior to my announcement on Friday, they were well down the track with the negotiations. I don't know whether that's been finalised or not, so I'm really not at liberty to make that call. But I wasn't involved in these discussions, and it was something that was done by the chairman and the coach. And if it does come to fruition, he's a great signing.
Apparently, Gus, you spoke to him yesterday. Do you get the feeling that you can, Trent Barrett and yourself and the guys at Canterbury can turn him into the player that a lot of people expected that he would turn out to be?
Well, there's no doubt he's a talent. No doubt he's a talent, and I don't know what's happened at the Broncos and where his career's sort of gone off the rails up there. But I remember when Wayne Bennett was coaching the Broncos, he was a super player. Like, he looked like being anything. And you don't lose your talent. I've always said that. As I say, if it comes to fruition, if the Bulldogs make an announcement like that this week, it'll be great. And he'd be a great acquisition for them.
Gus, anyone who's watched this show the rest of this whole year knows how big you are on junior development and bringing guys through the club. Now, the Bulldogs have gone on a pretty big recruitment pitch. They've got 3 or 4 top-line players. Are you going to try and develop the junior system more there or continue to recruit?
No, well, I think every club's got to develop. They have to develop. And then in the short term, at the moment, if you haven't had those development pathways producing talent, you do have to recruit. And even if you do recruit, like even at the Panthers, our aim was 80% of the roster to have come to us as teenagers and come through the Panthers Academy. 80%. There would always be marquee purchases on top of that over the years. So your James Tarmos and your James Maloney's and those types of players would always come in to complement what you want, depending on what you needed. We got James Maloney to help educate Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai and those blokes, and it was a great signing for us. So you're always picking around with marquee signings. So if your development program is producing the talent, then you're only ever worried about marquee signings at the top of the roster, and it gives you a chance to do it because you've got so much value in the fellas that you've produced. Now, every club should be doing that.
How long will it take you to develop those development systems at a club that probably doesn't have too many at the moment? They don't have a lot of juniors coming through.
There was a few poked through last night, and they've announced the signing of a couple today, re-signing of a couple today that are staying with the club. I mean, it's not as though they're not producing anything, it's just coming through. But, once a concerted effort comes in and once we can bring fellas even in from outside the area and put them in academy programs, it increases your chances of developing talent that you can call your own. And you hope that they stay with your club and build with your club over a period of time. But, one of our priorities will be the investment in the future, which is a junior academy and the junior league and everything that's happening in the Canterbury area.
Gus, when we spoke to Kevy Walters a bit earlier, you checked on his welfare to see how he was. You asked why. I'm asking you why you're going back into this, because the job can be quite taxing at times. I remember speaking to at Penrith. There was obviously the highs, there's lows. You go on an emotional roller coaster. You've done everything in the game. Why is this job right for you?
Well, what am I going to do, mate? Sit at home. I mean, you've got to live your life. You've got to do something. And it's what I love to do. And I mean, I find it wonderful. I mean, I was a player and a coach at the Panthers, and when their club was in a little bit of trouble, they asked me to come back and help with there. And here it is, another club that I played and coached with at the Bulldogs have come back. They're in a precarious position on the premiership ladder at the moment. They're in last position. They're looking for improvement. I find it quite flattering that they come to someone like me and ask to come back and help out with it. So it's a challenge, and I think that's what we need in life. I think you've got to live your life. You've got to keep working. And I get bored sitting at home doing nothing. I really do.
There's plenty of Zooms now.
But it is, and look, the rough and tumble of rugby league. I mean, that's once you're in it, that's what it is, and you've got to learn to deal with that. And only the tough survive that. So, I'm looking forward to it. There'll be some highs and lows to come, and there'll be other rubbish that you've got to put up with along the way. But you just bat it off and keep going.
Our social team has put out the question, what have you got to ask Gus about his new job as General Manager of Football at the Doggies?
I thought I was asking you.
A few rapid-fire ones for you, Gus.
What's your recommendation?
I've got plenty, actually. This is from Beck on Instagram. Is Kyle Flanagan in your plans?
Yeah, well, Kyle's on contract for the next couple of years. And this is priority. This is my first priority, to make sure that we're getting everything out of what we've got at the moment.
Yep.
coaches and players. You know, we have to provide an environment where they're all playing and working to the best of their potential and get results out of what we've got. And that's the job of our coaching staff and our club, to be a support system to that. And, you know, Kyle's there for 2 years and we've got to work with him and help him realise his potential.
From Zabel1997 on Instagram, do you believe you can help Barrett turn Matt Dufty into one of the game's top fullbacks?
Well, I think he is one of the top fullbacks. I don't think we need to turn him into anything. He just needs to, you know, look, players like Matt Dufty just need to feel safe, they need to feel happy and they need to feel confident. They just need to come and do their thing. There's not much that anyone can teach Matt Dufty to do. He's got all the skills. We've just got to provide the platform and the team in front of him so that he can show us how he can play. He's got great talent.
Sharon on Facebook, will there be a boardroom clean-out? We know there's been a lot of politics at the Doggies. There's the Leagues Club, there's the football club. Is it settled at the moment, Gus?
I think on a very serious note, that's where the Bulldogs need to be. They need to have stability, long-term stability, and I think they need to pull all that together so that everyone's in the tent. And you know, that's one of the things that we're working really hard on over the summer months, is to make sure that everyone feels a part of it.
Gus, what about Steve Hansen? He had a role, for those who don't know, he was involved in the All Blacks. Now, he's had some sort of consultancy role this year. Will he have more of a full-time role going forward with you at the club?
Yeah, well, Steve, I met Steve at a Bulldog luncheon going back about a month ago and you know, got on with him really well. He's obviously had tremendous achievements with the All Blacks and they're revered as one of the most professional and organisations throughout the world, and I think to have someone like him with the Bulldogs, I think his role's about to be expanded. Trent Barrett went over there to study the All Blacks and work with Steve. That's how he got the introduction to the Bulldogs. But he said he's really great in the leadership space, in providing leadership education for players and just other little things around the club that, you know, you can do by, you know, sourcing the expertise of people that have been high achievers in other sports. And I'm really looking forward to working with him. I only spent a bit of an hour with him just having at the luncheon there, and seemed like a great bloke, like a real knock-around sort of bloke.
Gus, I can see the headlines already next year. There's going to be talk about your involvement in the club. Are you helping coaching
Only because
the team?
you blokes write it.
Yeah, I'll be asking. I'll be ringing you. Has Gus taken over again?
You blokes write it. You blokes and the other blokes, they just, you know, say what they like.
But how much involvement in footy do you envisage you'll have at the Bulldogs, or are you just going to leave that to Trent Barrett?
Well, we've got to provide a support system for all of that, you know. Like, and I've known Trent a long time. You know, I was the one who encouraged him to be a coach and gave him his first opportunity. And you know, we've already had a number of discussions, and we need to help as much as we can with his staff and everyone else, and we need to help the players to make sure that they're improving all the time. Sometimes when you get into a situation like this, you know, coaches and people, they're wondering where their next win will come from, and they're constantly trying to get the next win, and they think they can do it in the selection room, or they think they can do it in the gym, but it can't. It's got to come by incremental improvement with players, and there is no easy way out of this situation. Truth is, they're running last in the competition, they're struggling to win games, and you've just got to claw your way out of it, and that's what we'll do, and we'll give him every support to do that.
More Zooming tomorrow, Gus?
Zooming all week. I've got Zoom appointments all week. Everyone, Zooming.
Make sure you're ready for our podcast. Stay with us. This is 100%.
A lot of controversy on the podcast.
Always
I'm not happy about a couple of things.
Right, OK. I'll make sure I write those down in the ad break. This is 100% Footy, The Drag.